everyone, I Nirmala Rawat welcome you to my YouTube channel. I hope you all are in good health and listening to all of my videos. Today I will be continuing with Part 2, Chapter 10. This part is quite enlightening. When Mata and Sri Ram left for the forest, I knew there was a far deeper reason for their departure. It was not for the purpose of keeping Maharaja Dashrath's promise to Maharani Kaikai, or due to her jealousy, or even the wickedness of Maharani's servant. Those were external causes, the outer conditions that enabled their departure. If it had not been that, another set of circumstances would have appeared. The design for these events took form long ago in another realm, but we will come to that later. Those conditions formed the perfect scenario for them to leave the confinement of Ayodhya, so they could fulfill the deeper purpose of their birth. Soma opened her eyes and looked at us, perhaps to see if we understood what she was saying. My mother nodded. I waited to hear more. I knew this to be true because Mata left me hints, hidden seeds that I had to uncover for myself. Before she left, she lit a sacred fire and asked all 4 of servants from Mithila to keep it alive until her return. She said it would spread a protective cover over the kingdom, allowing a part of her presence to remain. She had put a part of herself into that fire. Soma turned to look at me when she spoke these words. Over time, I discovered there was more to the fire. Often, when I would sit before the flames and close my eyes, I would see images of Mata and Sri Ram from their journey, and I would hear conversations. I could follow them to some degree and know their whereabouts. Mata had left me a doorway through which I could reach her, and throughout her journey, this doorway never closed. Until Lanka. Soma paused. I never spoke to anyone about this, nor shared any of the things I saw or heard, except when there was a special message for someone. Sometimes I would say that I saw it in a dream. I realized that Mata wanted to send messages back to Ayodhya and to receive word that all was well. Just as her link with Janak Baba had never been broken, she knew I could not survive without my link to her. That is how I came to know of the Great Tapasia of sage Anusuya, she said. When I sat before the flame one night, I could hear parts of their conversation when Sri Ram and Mata visited the hermitages of sages Atri and Anusuya. I heard Sage Atri say that he hoped his wife would be a model for women, so they would pursue deep spiritual practices and do their part in helping to shape the earth and its future. I heard these things. It was she who brought to earth the great Mandakini river, so that the inhabitants could have a constant supply of water and the blessings of the river Devi. She has many other such accomplishments that are not commonly known. She was very modest about her spiritual achievements. When Sri Ram and Mata were in Chitrakoot visiting sages Atri and Anusaya, they were shown a large, magnificent cave by one of the hermits in the area. You can take rest here, Ram, and you can have privacy in this cave, he said. The cave satisfied all of their needs, except there was no water source. One day, when Mata was thirsty, Sri Ram was about to go fetch water for her when they heard the gushing of water. Sri Ram said, Sita, see how nature fulfills your every wish. Look at the spring that has come to satisfy your thirst. The spring grew into a clear pool of water, and out of the water rose a Devi. I am the river Godavari, the goddess said. I have come to seek your blessing, Prabhu, and yours, Mata. And so they gave their blessing. May you always be full and plentiful, replied Sri Ram. And may you nourish all the life around you, added Mata. Godavari pranamed, so it will be. Now I will head south where I will meet you later. I will leave this pool to satisfy your thirst and where you can bathe in private. With those words, she disappeared into water again. While sitting by the flame, Mata left. Overhearing this conversation, I realized that Mata wanted me to understand the deeper purpose of their exile. She had told me before she left that the sages were helping to preserve the teachings given by the Devs and Devis during an earlier age, and that their work would help set up the foundation for religious learning to guide society through the succeeding ages. Sri Ram knew from his time at the hermitage of his guru, Rishi Vishwamitra, that he would be called upon to help secure this foundation. When he first set eyes on Mata, he recognized that she was the one to help him accomplish his mission. He knew that she alone would be able to withstand the difficulties and trials that lay ahead of them. Their success was of paramount importance, but as they traveled through the jungle visiting the hermitages, they learned that the Rakshasas, unruly flesh-eating creatures, were creating great obstacles. They had untamed instincts, and their appetite was fed by human meat. They would often attack at night, devastating the hermitages. Sri Ram knew they would have to travel deeper into the jungle to realize their objectives, and it was Mata's knowledge of forest foods and medicines that enabled the three exiles to survive their ordeal. Soma's eyes had closed during her talk, but now she opened her eyes and looked at us to see whether we understood what she was saying. My mother nodded, but I could not. I hardly could take in what she was saying. It was so counter to all that I had heard since childhood. I had learned a far simpler story of jealousy and the protection of honor by keeping one's word. Any deeper complexities I could not fathom. But this did not stop Soma from continuing her narrative. The spread of Sanatan civilization was already determined. But who could clear the path? It was not only riding the jungles of Rakshasas, those fierce eaters of humans. The forest communities also needed to learn to cultivate the earth. With the coming decline of forest foods, cultivation was going to be essential for survival. Mata taught them knowledge of seeds and diverse foods so they could live on plant food and not human flesh. She taught them to read the signs of nature, the direction of the winds, the timing of the flight of birds, and so many other things. While Sri Ram was trying to bring some elementary governance to their communities, she was teaching them how to express gratitude towards Vasundharama, the earth. She gave them the knowledge she had gained in Mithila. After every battle, for every community that lost their leaders, their fathers and husbands, Mata would bring them food and prepare a feast, and she would help them heal. In this way, many communities were transformed all along their route. Again and again, I saw this take place. But as they moved further south, the difficulties grew. The battles became more intense, and I began to feel anxiety. Soma had been looking off into the distance as she spoke, but now she closed her eyes again and fell silent. After a few minutes, she resumed her narrative. Thank you. This would be the end of part 2. The chapter will finish with part 3. I hope you do like this part too. Do not forget to listen, like, comment, and share. If you have not subscribed, please do subscribe. And a big thank you to all the subscribers. Have a good day. Jai Shri Ram.